For some of you, you've probably maybe heard the term STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. You may or may not have heard the term STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And Jake is, we met Jake in our first event like this about almost a year ago now. Yep. And we did a workshop, and Jake stepped up and helped with the kids when we did a Saturday and Sunday event. This guy not only has the know-how, but he actually has a fantastic way with kids. So you've been working with the 21st Century Kids. And Jake's got 2 different projects. He's going to show you one, and I think he's going to tell you a little bit about the second one.
All right, this is the first time that I've talked about the electronics and programming project.
Say where you're from.
Oh, I'm from Hampshire College. I'm a Division III student, and I'm also a Digital Humanities Fellow under the 5 College Digital Humanities program. This is the first time that I've talked about the things which I've been working on electronically and programming-wise to a room of people who are not primarily artists. It's been a strange year having only artists to talk to about these things. All right. So right now I'm working on a year-long investigation in interactive robotic metal sculptures. I'm creating sculptures which aim to collapse the many abstraction layers in digital technology and to represent certain collapsings of those abstraction layers in single objects. I have a much larger project, which I wish I could have brought. That project has a robotic winch, which can move 2,000 pounds back and forth by 50 feet. Right now, it's in a very dangerous development phase, so it would have been bad if I brought it here, or at least dangerous. It's very heavy and not ready to be shown. Instead, I brought the smallest project, which I'm working on, and it's on my head. I'm going to start talking about this with a quote which largely inspired this project. It's a Manuel de Landa quote. All right. It's kind of intense. So, when the computer screen became the surface of contact between 2 machinic species, people and computers, it also became a potential trap for individuals. Software hacking, as was discovered early on, is powerfully addictive. Computer screens can become narcotic mirrors, trapping users by feeding them amplified images of their narcissistic selves. The same interface that can allow users to control the machine can also give them a false and intoxicating sense of their own power. So I look around me and I see people with their screens. They face inwards. The screens do not broadcast, they're instead used for receiving. It becomes this mirror-like thing where they're using the screens to just focus in on what they already know about themselves. And I wanted to create an art piece which turned that around. And that came as the Forehead Gallery. I took a screen, I faced it outwards, I put it on a flip brim hat, and I created a website which allows people to submit text and images which automatically get displayed on the hat. I don't know how well you can see it from so far away, but if you were up here, I'm sure you could see what's on there. A dollar bill, $100 bill maybe? Yeah. Oh, I think that's the president of my college's face on a $100 bill. I did not make that, someone else made that. So I was interested in what happened when you became a broadcaster instead of a receiver, and I wanted to investigate what happens socially when you become the medium for other people to express themselves instead of me trying to express myself. There are 3 layers to the project. I created a website which catalogs the design process, the build process, the programming process. Oh, that's it. I made it sound like there was going to be more. But yeah, I have a website which does that. I can plug it in and show that website. There's also a website you can go onto to submit images to this. And then there's me writing about how it's affected my day-to-day. That's definitely not it. That is my background. And there it is, like now, okay. Boop, boop. Okay, so this is all of the things that I'm working on this year. There's the Forehead Gallery. And from this website, you can read about what I've been doing. You can look at the sketches that I made of it, the design process, all of the different failures that I went through. and just kind of follow all of these projects from beginning to finish. Let's see, what else? So I'm in the process of making 4 of these hats with different designs. I'm going to give them to different people in the area, and I'm going to collect their experiences wearing it, how it changes their life socially, how it changes their life intellectually, and then I'm also going to catalog and compile those experiences. This is the first of a bunch of things I'm planning on doing this semester, and I think it's the least impressive of them, but yeah, anyway.
Very important.
It's very impressive, I think. That's a nice job here. Do you want to say anything more about the larger one that before we?
Okay, so one of the reasons which I'm excited about this medium is that it's something which I think is really hard to describe without seeing the actual thing. So I'm gonna try and describe it. It's a light fixture. It's a very heavy metallic light fixture which glows. It senses when people walk below the light fixture, and then based on a selection process, it decides whether or not to descend upon them. If it decides to descend upon them,
Unnatural selection?
more or less. If it does decide to descend upon them, it very, very slowly and loudly like goes down onto their head, and then gives them all kinds of audio visual feedback. And the only way they can get out of it is if they physically remove themselves. It doesn't take itself off.
This is the 2,000 pound.
Yeah, and if you go on my website, you can see the
You're not hooked up anymore.
you can see the whole design and build process of that. The website's ecstaticpessimist.in. But it's the delusion chamber right there. It doesn't have that much written up about it. I've just been spending a lot of time building it and not so much cataloging it yet.
What was the last part of your website? .in?
.in, yes, in.
And if something comes down on you, how heavy is that thing? You said what, 2,000 pounds?
Well,
of
so it
lift?
has a lot of fabric padding. There's this integration between organic and industrial materials in a lot of the work that I'm doing this year. So it's not going to be painful even if it malfunctions. But it's not going to malfunction. It's also one of the reasons it's not here today.
Well, I hope we have, on Makers at Amherst Media on the website, we have episodes, television episodes that we're starting to build. And so I'm looking forward to an episode of that.
Well, yeah, you can see me shock myself with this battery.
Please don't. Please don't. So, well, thank you, Jake. Any other questions for Jake?
Yeah.
And Seth?
Can I have one of the hats?
Oh, man. Possibly, yeah.
Or you
I
can
think
make one yourself, maybe.
You definitely can make one yourself.
We know you can do it.
But yeah, that would be really interesting if you actually wanted a hat. We'll get in contact.
Okay, thanks.
Any
Your
other
friends
questions?
might say different things than his friends, I bet.
It's true, it's true.
That'd be the goal.
What?
That would be the goal, right?
Yeah, definitely. Diverse group. Does if anyone has any, like, I don't know, this is a demographic which I'm not used to talking about my work with, so I don't know, really anything, specifically harsh criticism would be great from you guys, but if you can't, that's totally fine. Yes?
What type of thing did you use, like an Arduino or?
Yeah, so this actually is not using an Arduino, it's using a Teensy, which is another microcontroller. There it is. I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty tiny. None of the Arduinos were adequate size to fit in here. I could have used a LilyPad, but the LilyPad doesn't have enough memory for the photos. Yes?
How did you choose like the screen size?
Well, okay, I wanted a screen size which made it kind of difficult for people to make images and text to put on there. But I just found a bunch of these screens in the dumpster, and they happen to be good there happened to be a library with which to work on the screens in that someone already wrote, so it was an easy thing for me to use. Yeah.
How does it get updated? I mean, is there a network connection?
Right.
Hat?
So there isn't a network connection in the hat. There's an app running on my computer which I wrote, and whenever I plug that in, it syncs it up with the website. Yeah. I think it'd be a little too much for my brain if it had a microcontroller and a wireless receiver on it 24/7.
Well, great.
Cool.
So, Jake, thank you so much for coming and sharing this stuff. And for all your support with the 21st century, and that's what we're trying to do here.